the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, is justifying its decision to implement a floor pricing policy for all petroleum products beginning April 16. The move will see the NPA setting a minimum price for petrol, diesel, and LPG. It will be outlawed for all marketing companies to fix their prices below the floor prices on the policy once the policy is set in motion. Even before its implementation, the move has already come under sharp criticism from industry players like ASAP, who described it as an illegal measure. But speaking on the business edition of PMS Press Thursday, Benjamin Boache said setting price floor is beyond the mandate of the NPA.
Some of the problems that government itself is dealing with tax evasion, substandard products, are the very reason why competition is important to weed out the very inefficient service providers in that space. But for the regulator to now say that the way to go is to now begin to interfere with the pricing mechanics so directly to the extent that everybody will be kept afloat, whether they are performing or not performing. I mean, we are just going backwards with that kind of directive. And that's why we are really alarmed by this directive.
Economic regulation at the NPA, Abbas Tasunti, however, says the move is necessary to safeguard the industry.
One of the major issues that came up during the price regulation policy review in 2021 was the issue about price undercutting, both from the OMC side and also from the BIDEC side. The fact that our pricing policy is required to ensure full cost recovery of investments because, like I explained, our industry prices are set using a formula. This formula has certain benchmarks and certain costs that apply to all companies. The only difference we see in pricing of companies is the fact that they apply their own margins. So at the worst case, prices should be at a certain level because the little difference, like I've said, is just with their margins. So where we see as a regulator, our mandate is to ensure that we protect the industry, ensure that the industry is sustainable to be able to continue to supply petroleum products to consumers. Where we see that realistically, sometimes prices of petroleum products are below the cost, then we should be concerned as a regulator because what happens when this continuously happens is that it leads to a situation where there's debt accumulating in the industry because there's unhealthy competition, companies are pricing below cost and the full cost recovery principle of pricing is not being achieved. So as a regulator, you want to ensure that that is done. How do you do that and still ensure that the competition we need in the industry continues to go?
Now, reacting to government's reintroduction of the price stabilization and recovery levy on petroleum product, Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Dr. Patrick Ofori, criticized the U-turn and blamed government and the IMF for being insensitive to the plight of the Ghanaian people.
I don't envy the government and what the NPA recently tried to do by taking off the price stabilization.
And what is the communication as in the rationale behind it?
Clearly, from my intel and what I gathered, because the headmaster is in town.
IMF? IMF is not happy with the
yes,
the
you cannot because you've submitted your revenue profile where you are going to generate all this from. And 3 months or so into the year, you come back and change a certain guaranteed or assured revenue stream that because either for whatever reason, because our boss wants to look good or his bosses or the government wants to look good, they decided to take something away, which necessarily expose that.
But do you think it's a good thing? Because I would say it distorts your whole prices.
The planning because within 24 hours, the prices have started shaking here and there. There are certain products that if you really are for, and you are signing up for COP, whatever, and all those treaties, then I don't see why we should have taxes or levies on LPG, for instance. I still have a strong view about why have subsidy for premix when you know you can't pay it and you are not even paying it on time, and then those who even imported the PMS, you've not been able to pay them. And if you are to look at the numbers involved with the subsidies that is provided for premise, it doesn't make economic sense.
It appears that the IMF is not happy with this whole thing being taken over, and that's why they had to bring it back. And that's what you picked up as well. But
yes, that is what I picked up.
But that is a major disruption for your business, as you said.
Now, he also dismissed assertions that the recent hike in fuel prices is as a result of the policy.
Definitely because of international prices and how our currency is behaving.
Do you?
And then
that because you buy the bulk, you're seeing that at play when you take your CDs to buy the dollars to purchase a product.
Certainly, you check just last week or so. Members have already priced using the exchange rate within the region of 12.45 thereabout. By the time the window even closed, even the BOG auctioning for this month was 13.11. Clearly gives an indication that even if you are going by the central bank exchange rate, the prices cannot still remain the same because there has been a change in one of the key determinants. Once the cedi keeps on depreciating and international prices doesn't come down, it will be difficult for anybody to give prices that are not realistic. And on the issue of even the floor pricing, the regulator will not just sit down and look at the market to continue to behave in a certain way, which clearly is not sustainable.
You back the price floor?
Certainly. You need to be fair to all players within the value chain. Even the template is simple. You look at how you are landing the product. Even the exchange rate alone, even if you are putting a zero margin or even a zero premium in your calculation, some of the prices that were going on in the market clearly gives an indication that people are not being truthful or honest to themselves.